Hey everybody, it's Steve Hodson, Paul O'Flaherty, otherwise known as I'm the Cranky Canuck. He's Paul O'Flaherty. I see. I get the fancy title. I get the fancy title. You like my fancy title?
Well, you see, you get a fancy title. I've always been a believer of in just sort of being me.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
I know.
I am the fancy title.
You are. Yes, yes. You
Last
are.
week I was Prince with two names. Now I'm the fancy title.
But I'm all coffeeed up. I'm ready to go. How are you?
Coffeeed up too, just in the
Yes.
door from my client's office, and probably completely unprepared, but ready to rock.
Yeah. Well, we'll make this gentle. We'll make this gentle. But from what I understand, before we just before we started, you said that you had a little bit of a client problem.
Oh yeah. So to clarify, in case because my client would know that I'd seen them this morning. This is not the client that I saw this morning. Okay. But I love emails that start. Can you do this quick little fix on the website? When quick little fix means completely
Redoing.
redesigning
Yes.
all of an entire section of the website and all the graphics and sliders to go with it. A quick little fix because we want to see how it looks. You know?
I've got one of those too. I'm right in the middle of it, and I'm going like, I've been sick for the past week and a half. Like I've been like really badly sick. So I was able to sort of say, look, I've been like on death's door sort of thing, like leave me alone. I'll get there. Just shut the fuck up. But yeah, so sometimes working as a consultant or working as an independent designer or whatever you want to call it. If you go back far enough, it was webmaster or web admin or whatever. Yeah, we get plagued by those kind of idiotic requests of like, could you just change this one little thing?
Well,
You know,
my answer is typically yes, I can. You know, just be aware that it's going to take X amount of time, and I'm charging you at my hourly rate.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and honestly, though, I kind of want to drop that side of my business. It's it's not fun anymore.
I I'm having too much fun with what I'm doing. Other than that too. So I got basically got one client, and the only reason I got him is because he's sort of a friend. He's a pain in
Mm.
the ass. You ever want one of those friends you're kind of embarrassed that you know them,
Mm.
and you don't
I'm
really want
usually
to.
that friend.
Yeah, you don't want to acknowledge them in public, but
Are you
you.
talking about me again?
No, no, I'm not actually. You rank quite high up there. Um, but yeah, so like it's like I do this out of the kindness of my heart and the pain to my pocketbook. So he gets free
Yeah.
work, and it's like I'll shoot you some money in PayPal when I've got some. Okay, fine, fuck, go whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, we I think we all have that. I have enough problem designing my own websites. I just finished redoing Geek Dimensions. I'm happy with it now. It took me a boatload of time to get it, all caught up. Which, you know, theme designers for WordPress. What would be really nice is some standardization on your custom fields.
All right, so you're talking about an ongoing debate that has been going on forever in the
Yeah.
WordPress community, which is, you know, I mean, the idea of themes, really, right, is that, from an end user's perspective, and this is how they should operate in the real world, in the perfect world, right? How themes should operate is that I should be able to take your theme today, put it on my site, and if I want to change tomorrow as an end user, I should just be able to install another theme, and off
I
I
go.
go,
Yes.
right? That's it, right? Theme functionality should never, ever put a user in a situation whereby they cannot move to a different theme without having to programmatically recreate that functionality. Okay? Shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
If you if you want to perform certain tasks that you cannot do in a theme normally, sort of say outside of the WordPress loop or whatever the case may be, that should be handled in plugins, in my opinion. Right?
I'm getting that point too. Yeah.
Because my client should always be able to just look. They're my client today, but they could be somebody else's client tomorrow. You know, if I die tomorrow, because obviously I'm that awesome a consultant that they never ever leave me. But if I die tomorrow, my clients need to be able to go to another guy, or they need to be able to redesign their website, or even from my point of view, right? If I do a theme for a client today, and in 3 years' time we decide to upgrade that theme or change or whatever for whatever reason, I don't want to be landed with the work that I can't just develop another theme that is easy to use without because I've hard coded functionality that relies on custom fields and shit in the theme, right? I mean, you just can't.
Yeah, okay.
You should never ever do that.
I know.
But I understand why theme designers do it. And the reason why they do it is because they need to differentiate themselves in the marketplace. But I think that differentiation should never be on the code. Well, okay, that's wrong. Not to say that it should never be on the code of the theme, because obviously everybody should be designing, should have excellent code and standard-based code and et cetera, right? But your theme, anything extra that your theme does should be plugin based. Okay? It should not be part of the theme's template code or the theme's function.php or functions file or whatever, right? It should be plugins based. So, Steve can come along and redesign my site tomorrow without worrying about anything breaking, as long as those plugins are.
Two of the most common pain in the ass things to deal with. Okay, the simplest one, post views. Okay, most people might not think that's important, but for the site owner or they like to know how either on the back end or the front end how many times a post is being viewed. When I updated to a new theme, I literally had to go back in and consolidate 3 different custom fields that were counting post views. Because based on the theme.
Okay, well, you see, that brings us into exactly, right? That brings us again. These things need to be offloaded as a plugin.
Yes.
Right? Now, WordPress does have a sort of a standard plugins architecture, but I think we need a standard for plugins, basically. You know what I mean? So that they all conform to the same. So every plugin that counts your custom posts stores it in the same location.
Yes.
It stores post views.
Yes.
Does it in the same location, for example. I mean, don't get me wrong. WordPress is awesome.
I love WordPress.
Without it, I wouldn't make half the living that I do. But it's like anything else. This started out as a sheer blog platform, and now it's developed into a full blown CMS, and they're trying to give the user the experience of it still being a blog platform, but it is so much more. But in order to do that, we're going to have to, I think the WordPress community as a whole is going to have to sort of sit down and be honest with itself. And a lot of people in there are, and a lot of people are making the same arguments that we're making, top designers making the same, top WordPress dudes making the same argument that we're making.
The other one
the question then becomes is, how do all these companies who are out there making themes and a whole lot, how do they differentiate themselves? Because it's really hard for them in the sense of, you've got to give a user a value proposition in order to be able to justify what you're paying.
Okay, Paul, for example, the second one, and even the bigger problem is video, right? Some themes only want the YouTube tag or the Vimeo tag or the Dailymotion tag. They don't want the whole URL.
Well, you see that again? That's wrong.
Yeah, of course it's wrong.
because WordPress has embed functionality already.
Yeah, but it's not as controllable. Like, it's like plop the URL down, and it doesn't, like, you can't fine tune it as much as you can, as a theme developer can, probably within their own code. I don't know. But here's the other thing. And then other ones want the full URL. Other ones want the iframe.
Well, then, doesn't that mean then that, we probably have to look at going beyond just embed functionality in WordPress and dropping more things into the core and just saying, okay,
but again,
as a theme developer, right? As a theme developer, you want to display a video at this location, right? So here's where you drop your code, right? And then the theme developer can call this part and maybe pass to it height and width variables and, style as needed, right? That's pretty much going to cover everything, isn't it? Because that's all there is with video, right? Yeah. You've got height and width variable and surrounding styling, right? That's really it. So if you could call that outside of the post loop,
yeah,
and just have a standard way to call that, but those sort of things have to become either part of the core or part of the most standard plugin. And the reason that there's problems there is because developers are trying to find their own way around it.
Yeah.
And again, that comes back to the whole thing that we said at the beginning. There needs to be either a second set of standards or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, wow. How did we get onto this WordPress rant? From clients that just want a quick fix gone. You know what? This whole idea is part of why I want to drop. I'm not going to drop it anytime soon, but I eventually want to drop that side of my business, which is doing the design and the code and function and focus. And it is becoming it is the vast majority of my business is IT marketing and business consulting, but there's still this lucrative section of it that is the WordPress side, that is development side, and I suppose I would eventually like to phase that out, but
yeah,
that may take.
Okay.
Now you may have noticed before we go any further, you may have noticed when we started this discussion that my eyes got all sort of woo, right?
Yeah.
I have a page open for a story that we're going to talk about. It's a Verge page talking about the Lenovo Superfish thing, which we get to. Do you have that page open in front of you?
Hang on a second. Let me just pull it up and see. Okay.
Because I'm assuming you're going to get the same information I have, right? So on the right-hand side, in the recommended box, do you have... Yes. Machete kills again?
Yes.
In space?
Yes.
Is that Machete? Does he have a machete that looks like a bloody lightsaber? Oh my god! I mean, I am like, what? I have to. Oh man, we're gonna. Oh.
Let me just see it. Let me just see. Is there? Yeah,
it's Danny Trejo. He's in space. It is again Robert Rodriguez, Michelle Rodriguez, Alex Vega, Lady Gaga is again in it. Leonardo DiCaprio may or may not be in it.
All right, let's just 1 second here. Let's do something really fancy. And
this is the joy of live podcasting, ladies and gentlemen. You never know what happens.
Yeah.
We are 15 minutes into the show, and we still have not talked about anything in the show notes.
Playback is being disabled by owner. I can't watch it, so I can't do what I wanted to do.
No worries. I will drop a link into the show notes. I'll drop a link into the show notes for our viewers to watch it themselves after, because obviously we haven't seen it yet. So.
Yeah.
Machete in space, dude. I mean, really.
Now, to continue along that lines, and you got that link that I gave you for the video share.
Yes, what is this watch together thing?
Okay, I'm gonna pull this up, and then if you got that screen up, you can see on the screen right now. We're gonna watch the Doctor Who VFX short for Dematerialization.
Our viewers are going to be able to see this.
Yes, they are.
Okay, awesome. There she is, my beloved TARDIS.
Now, that is a fan-made interpretation of the time-traveling TARDIS. The coming, the going and the coming sort of thing.
All right, so
now you being the Doctor Who fan is why I put this in here, because I couldn't give one shit one way or another.
Well, normally what happens is you see the TARDIS phase in and phase out, and it rotates then when it travels through space. Okay, so it rotates in the flight. I think what they've done here is they've decided. Okay, oh crap! Hang on, this thing is off showing more videos now. Is they've decided, let's phase with the TARDIS. Okay, so while it's phasing. Normally, you see it on TV from the perspective of the person's, let's say, in this time and space. But they're staying in the same time and space as the TARDIS, and then going round the TARDIS as the TARDIS goes off. I'm not sure about the ending of it, where she dematerializes, because they actually have her in motion, like she's coming into land.
Wait. She?
The TARDIS is a she. At one point in the Doctor Who series, the TARDIS is actually fully embodied as a woman. The TARDIS has a consciousness. Yeah, the TARDIS is alive. It's not just a blue box. The TARDIS is alive. It has a consciousness. And it is actually, and I believe it happens on Trenzalore, spoilers, people, which is, where the Doctor is supposed to die. The TARDIS actually becomes embodied as an actual woman, an actual female. That's why the Doctor has this weird sort of love relationship with his blue box.
Okay, so explain to me who Missy is, because apparently she's coming back to Doctor Who.
Yes, Missy is the Master. Okay, so the Master is like, he's another Time Lord, or she is another Time Lord, and she's always been. At least since I think original series, season second Doctor, possibly third Doctor, she's always been his archenemy. Okay, he's another Time Lord. They're always kind of competing with each other. He is the Yang to Doctor Who's Yin, right? He's bent on universal domination and. Wanting to take over the world. He doesn't care who he works with. He'll work with the Daleks. He'll work with anybody. Right? Missy is the latest incarnation of the Master, but this time regenerated as a Scottish female. Which again brings us back to what we talked about in the last podcast, which is, it is possible for the Doctor to come back as a woman, and sometimes it does work when major characters change sex.
It's not known what role she'll play in the events of season 9, but the BBC has announced that she'll definitely appear in the 2-part season opener. Michelle Gomez is excited to be back in the role, saying things have been a little beige since I left Missy behind, so I'm delighted to be putting my lippy back on. I'm positively dying to see the Doctor again.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Master always manages to come back no matter what. He's like a bad penny. He keeps turning up. Even when he's like, put into the other dimension where Gallifrey is locked away, he manages to Get Out. I mean, the whole end of David Tennant's run, you know, The Master, The Trap from Gallifrey. I don't know if you've watched that or not. You should. It's awesome. Yeah. So Arch Enemy.
I'm not a Doctor Who fan. I'm just not.
It's because you haven't given it a chance.
Not interested.
How many shows have I gone back and given a chance for you?
While we're talking,
I gave up on the Arrow, and you were like, "Oh, you need to go back and watch it." No, you need to go back and watch it. So I went back and watched it, and now I'm like halfway through season 2.
What do you think so far?
30 bloody episodes later, and I'm still going.
What do you think?
It's all right. It gets a bit.
It gets a bit.
It gets a bit procedural.
Yeah,
it gets a bit. Here we go again. Let's fight with Diggle again. Let's.
Yeah. But any series goes through those lull periods. But the fact is that actually I've got to get caught up again because I've fallen a little bit behind because I've just been between being sick and work, and I just haven't had much time to watch. But I've been, keeping an eye on what the spoiler posts are that show up, and every show that we love as geeks, they all, like, Doctor Who's gone through it too, where there's just that lull where it's like they're making time.
Yeah, the Matt Smith years.
Huh?
Yeah, the Matt Smith years.
Yeah.
Okay, I give Matt Smith a hard time. I really do. He was a good Doctor. He was. He was good. I didn't feel much love for him. He looks like a walking zombie, but
no,
he's been better than some.
What do you think about the news that God, Fox? I just want to slap Fox upside the head sometimes. But yeah, because they know
somewhere a Mulder cries.
Yes, they have given a pilot order for Lucifer. Now, for those not familiar with it, Lucifer is based on the Neil Gaiman Sandman series, and Lucifer suddenly decides one day he's had enough of hell, and he quits. He walks away, and he goes to live in San Francisco or L.A., in Los Angeles. This is where the series will pick up from on Fox. It's a combined effort from Jerry Bruckheimer, Aggressive Mediocrity, and Warner Brothers. The pilot was written by Tom Capinos and will be directed by Len Weissman, who will also executive produce.
See, a lot of information there. Nothing really to be said except that Neil Gaiman's Lucifer is getting a pilot.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
I'm going to reserve all judgment until the pilot comes out. Obviously, it's Neil Gaiman, but whether or not that translates
that's going to be because anybody that's read this,
it's like Amazon just ordered the full season of Man in the High Castle.
Yeah.
Philip K. Dick's stuff, which is that alternate reality. So I think he wrote it in the 60s?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Most of his
something
books
like
were
that, 62 or something. Yeah. And it's like where the Nazis have won World War II. Yeah. You know what I mean? That I'm actually kind of excited about. That what it was like anything else, gotta see it first, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and the problem is,
well, I suppose that's not true. It's not like anything else. We have ripped enough stuff apart on this show before they've ever produced anything.
The problem is, and anybody that's read the Sandman series will go right off, on this. And the fact is that how do you reproduce the insanity that is the Sandman series? Granted, we're dealing only with one auxiliary character, Lucifer, who, and he's in a real world, IRL situation. But it's Neil Gaiman, and he's just got such this warped perception of our world. I don't know if they can pull it off, or if they'll even try. And if they don't try, then I don't know if I want to watch it.
They'll try. I mean, considering oh no, this is Fox. I was about to say considering Amazon service. Yeah. Okay.
Let's reevaluate that statement.
Let's reevaluate that statement, and I will wait it with not bated breath.
Yeah.
Unlike what's his name? Who it looks like he's actually getting to go ahead to do an Aliens movie.
Yep. Neil Blankham.
Blankham.
Blomkamp?
Yes. So he's the guy behind. For those of you who haven't seen a lot of his stuff, he hasn't done a lot of stuff, really, has he? He's done a documentary, but he did District 9.
Which was awesome.
And he did Elysium, which was not quite so awesome. But it's the same.
Yeah.
Same universe, same plot, all set in, Johannesburg and space and stuff. He has a movie
coming out
called
soon.
Chappie about to come out. Did you watch the trailer for that yet?
No, I haven't.
So again, it's the typical, we're seeing a lot of films around this line lately. Antonio Banderas just did one.
Automa. And
where you have all these robots and one becomes sentient. This one looks like a group of engineers take one. It's a police robot. It becomes sentient. They train it. It has an actual personality. So you're going to feel all emotional. Think of it like Wall-E, but or like CGI bigger and guns. You know what I mean? Again, set in South Africa. The guys from what's that band out of South Africa? The rappers, the blonde one with the really severe bowl cut. They're fucking awesome when I can't think of it.
I don't know.
Somebody let us know in the show notes. You know who we're on about. But they're in it, and that looks really, really good. That looks Chappie. It looks like something I'm definitely going to have to go out and see. The Aliens thing, though, I'm kind of worried about. Right?
Okay, now I got to update this one because it came out last night, or late yesterday. It is confirmed. He is.
Yeah,
doing
it
the
is
movie.
confirmed.
Yes.
Yeah. No, because the Aliens thing, I'm kind of worried about, and I didn't realize that this was going to be a problem until I read this post on Wired today about why they love Blomkamp stuff. But they raised this really interesting issue, which is that the stuff that he does good all seems to be based in, around, and filmed in around Johannesburg where he's comfortable.
Yeah.
He leaves that area.
He's not so comfortable.
Stuff drops. Now, obviously, an Aliens movie is not going to be filmed there.
No, it's not.
So that brings in some reservation. What I do like about it, though.
Now, to be clear, this is not a reboot. This is not a re-imaging. This is not none. This is a follow-up along the line of the Alien. The original
so this is
Alien
going to come
movie.
out. This is going to come out around or close to Prometheus 2. Same universe, the whole lot, but it's going to be different time in that universe. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Right? So these will go side by side, But what I do like about it is the fact that this guy has been putting out artwork of Xenomorph.
Yes.
And I know a lot of people watch Alien movies and they watch it because, it's the Ellen Ripley story.
Yeah.
But the Alien movies have never been about Ellen Ripley. They're all about the alien, the Xenomorph. That is the star,
Yeah.
And if there's one thing Blomkamp does good, it's non-human life forms.
Yeah, like his visualizations are amazing. He does a really good job. Like District 9 was an incredible film along that lines. He made you believe in those alien characters. And
but a lot of the belief in the alien characters came not just from the personalities he gave them, but from how well done the aliens were themselves. They felt believable. They actually felt relatable.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So if he can bring that to Aliens, because remember the original Aliens, I mean, was some dude in a I can't remember his name. But in the original Alien movie, wasn't it some dude in a suit?
Yes, it was on stilts.
Because he's like 7 foot tall or something.
Yeah.
No. And I would expect that Blomkamp would kind of go that line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, he's a big believer in trying to make us be able to relate to the aliens.
Yeah.
I don't want to use the term humanize, but maybe alienize, like makes us feel like they are a part of our world, and we have to basically come to terms with that and accept them for what they are, which is.
I mean, if you look at Blomkamp's stuff, right? I mean, if you look at District 9, if you look at Elysium, and this is all sort of, set in South Africa, there's a lot of strong political undertones in his movies, which is kind of why I think he makes them so believable, because whether or not he intends to, maybe it's subconscious, he's making a political statement. It seems to be about segregation and separation and apartheid and all that. I wonder how that would translate to an alien movie.
Yeah, it's. I think in some ways he might be stepping out of his comfort zone on this, but I think he's reached a stage where
be a good thing.
Yes,
it also could be disastrous.
Yes,
again, we will wait and see.
But one we're not going to have to wait for, Gina Carano.
Who is she?
She is, if you remember Haywire, she kicked the ass out of Magento's Michael Fassbender in Steven Soderbergh's Haywire. She's an excellent action star.
She's an action.
Yes, very much so. Very much so, and she's very good.
Which is a polite way of saying that she mightn't have the best acting chops out there, but
she's not bad. She's better than some I've seen that have gone that route. Anyway, she has been signed up to star opposite Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool, along with another actress, but I can't remember. She was.
Yeah, you had me at Deadpool.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Another actress that is also signed on is the companion from Firefly. She's going to be in it as well, and she is.
Green, or what do we call her?
She's Deadpool's romantic interest.
I actually had a conversation with. Not a conversation with Sarah. Messaged me. My wife messaged me yesterday on IM, and she was like, "So that chick from Firefly and Gotham is going to be in Deadpool."
Yeah.
Like, really? And she's like, "Yeah." She goes, "I know how excited you are about Deadpool, so now maybe I have a reason to go." That's what she said.
Anyway, Carano will play a mutant named Angel Dust, and through the X-Men films have often tweaked story elements to fit better their own narratives. Here's what Marvel.com says about the character. The young woman known only as Angel Dust is a member of the small group of outcast mutants living under the streets of Chicago known as the Morlocks. These Morlocks made a pact to stay together.
Morlocks?
Yes. They're legitimate Deadpool.
Oh, I know. I just have World of Warcraft in my head now.
Yeah. These Morlocks, yes, have made a pact to stay together to help each other to fulfill one last wish left over from their lives on the surface.
Anybody familiar with the X-Men will be familiar with the Warlocks.
Yeah.
The Warlocks. The Morlocks.
Yes.
So obviously this is planting Deadpool right smack in the middle of that universe.
Yeah.
I know it's all the Marvel universe, but it's a fairly close integration there. What else was it they said though? They said something about they might be bringing help me.
What are you looking for?
Not Night. There was an announcement about Nightcrawler, but with relation to Deadpool, there was another X-Men. That may be turning up in Deadpool.
Colossus,
yeah. We don't know whether or not it's going to be the same actor that played Colossus in the recent X movies, but
no, it's not.
Colossus is coming.
Yeah.
Nightcrawler. Obviously, Nightcrawler is only going to be a voice.
Yeah, heavy CGI there, folks.
Yeah, because it's Cody Smith McPhee, the voice of Paranorman, is going to be the voice of the Nightcrawler in X-Men.
Apocalypse?
Is it X2? No, sorry. Yeah, Apocalypse. Where am I getting X2 from? That was done like a long time ago.
Yeah, that was like
that was forever ago.
That was back in 2000. That was way back when.
Way back when. Back in the old days.
So, what do you think of this? Because obviously you don't bring this lady in unless you want some serious ass kicking to happen on screen. So, what do you?
Are we back to Gina Carano now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We are.
Well, I mean, obviously she's. I'm assuming there's going to be some sort of a confrontation between her and Deadpool. I know her backstory is supposed to be that, it's part of the Morlocks, didn't think her parents would accept her as a mutant, blah, blah, blah. Although, they're teaming up with Deadpool. Possibility.
Yeah.
But Deadpool... I just want to see Deadpool. I'm sorry.
So do I.
I'm ready for Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool fix. Because, it's got to be better than Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern. Green Hornet. Speaking of green...
Yes?
Is this becoming a trend? I'm sure we had a similar story a couple of months ago. Maybe we didn't talk about it on a podcast or a podcast, but I've seen similar stories go through my feeds in the last couple of months on more than one occasion. Relatives dress a deceased man as the Green Lantern and stand him up at the funeral.
I know. Did you see the pictures in that post? Like, that was just insane.
I don't know if that is paying tribute to somebody or
that's just disturbing. But yeah, what was it? Relatives dress a deceased man as Green Lantern, stand him up as the wake because he was a hero to them.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Before we, it is obviously his family will deal with the grief in their own way, and that's right. Whatever gets you through, right?
Yep.
Irish people have wakes where, we put the person's bed in the living room, we lay the person out on the bed, and, everybody gets crap out drunk, right?
Yeah.
And the dead person right there the whole time, right? These people want to stand the dead dude up in the corner of the room dressed as the Green Lantern. That's their thing. But I'm looking at the picture of it, and I'm like, is he wearing a Batman utility belt?
It sure looks like it, doesn't it? It sure does. Yeah, he is. Well, I don't know. There's not really a close...
I don't remember the Green Lantern having a utility belt.
No.
See, now I'm going to have to do an image search on the Green Lantern. And no, the Green Lantern does not have a utility belt. That is a Batman utility belt, and it looks like...
Literally, he's being used to hold him up, probably.
Oh, wow. Yeah, how do you get a dead person to stand in the corner of the room?
Stick a broom up his ass?
See, I wanted to say that, but I really didn't want to be that offensive this early in the morning.
Trust me to do it, I guess. I don't know. Okay, we're going to switch gears here a little bit because we have some tech shit to talk about. Some pretty important stuff. Late last night, I actually got past this by De Gaulle as we were doing another show. And let me just pull up this. Lenovo apparently decided in all their infinite wisdom for about a 4-month period through their consumer branch to install some pretty hefty, nasty malware under the guise of being a benefit to the consumer.
Now, let's just immediately jump to what this does.
Okay. You take care of the technical parts. I'll take care of the...
No. I'll just make it really, really simple for those non-technical users, okay? If you're using your Lenovo laptop to, say, go to your bank account, okay? Your bank account, when you log in, uses an encrypted connection from your browser to the bank. Those are the encryptions those are the ones that usually start with a HTTPS, and you will usually see a little lock of some sort in your browser, depending on the browser. The problem with this stuff on Lenovo, it was a toolbar?
No, it was Superfish. It's not really even a toolbar. It's sort of under the surface. It only pops up.
Yeah, but there was something about a toolbar too. But anyway, what it does is it allows that connection to be broken as a man-in-the-middle attack.
And allows Lenovo to inject their own ad links.
It's not just Lenovo. It allows anybody.
Yes, it does.
To do it. But basically what it means is that connection is no longer secure. So they can inject stuff, which also means that they can read and write in both directions. So if you log in with, say, your credit card, that information is no longer secure.
Yeah. Now, Forbes had a bit of an explanation.
Which, of course, let's take that just beyond the bank. That means anywhere that you log in with a secure connection is no longer secure.
Now, Lenovo apparently has shut down the Superfish install. Like, I'm not sure even how. Like, that even bothers me a little bit. That they can remotely shut this down on these affected laptops. Listen to what I just said. Lenovo can reach out to those laptops and shut that software down.
Well, that's because most Lenovo laptops, actually most laptops these days, usually come with an update service that is running, that is installed. And as long as that update service is still installed, then they would be able to reach out and, alter software. And I would assume in that case, it's just pushing a different Superfish install, something.
Yeah, but here's the thing. They didn't say it was uninstalled. It was just shut off.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be...
so what's to say that another update comes along and suddenly it's turned back on?
Well, that's why when you get a laptop, you uninstall all this shit.
No, what you do is you wipe it and you install... Now, here's what pissed me off about Forbes, because at the very end, what was it they said? Even users who do find uninstalling the program does not get rid of the problem, as that will not remove their certificate. For anyone concerned that Superfish is still swimming around their computer, the best option might be to back everything up on their system and install a new operating system. It might be a good excuse to upgrade to a more secure OS anyway.
To a more secure OS than Windows 8.1?
Yeah. Linux?
Yeah, because, the people who are out there, this is going to be a problem for, the people who can't wipe this themselves or reinstall Linux. Yeah, for the average home user, no.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to piss off a lot of Linux fans, right?
Tough shit.
I don't care. As a Linux user myself, as an Apple user myself, as a Windows user myself, each operating system has a time and a place. And unless you're deeply fucking geeky, I don't care what you say, Linux is still not prime time ready for granny.
Yeah. Now okay, you might think that that now that we know about Superfish and Lenovo is getting down on its hands and knees and getting the Vaseline out. That it's no problem. It's a certificate. It can't be. It's fine. It's not being used. We're not getting injected ads from Lenovo or whatever. The problem is that a security, and I have a problem with this one as well. The password for the certificate that Superfish used has been cracked. Which means it is available because this dipwad from Errata Securities published the password. What the fuck? Like, why don't I just give my fucking, apartment door keys to the assholes out there? Because that's what he just did.
So his name is Robert David Graham, correct?
Yes. Now, he said that this password was stored in Superfish software active memory and was trivial to extract. Okay, maybe it was trivial for him. And maybe it'll be trivial for hackers now that they know that it can be done. So
do we want to say what the password is?
It doesn't even... No.
Well, not that it matters because, But, yeah. I mean, I think once the exploit itself was announced, given his description of how he got the password, which as he said was trivial, it wouldn't have taken your average non-script kiddie hacker all that long to have figured it out themselves. So I really don't think that's too much of an issue. But yeah, it is slightly irresponsible to put it out there in the wild. I mean, you just save people a little bit of work.
Yeah. Now, the other little sort of techie story is for AT&T customers.
This has been... I read this story at 8 o'clock this morning, and it's had 2 hours and 40 minutes to stew around in the back of my brain while I've been doing stuff.
So let me just lay the groundwork so you can get ready for
I'm going to pour some coffee.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
The story is AT&T is has got this really nice high-speed service that they're bringing in, right? Gigabit service. Awesome stuff. Competing against Google Fiber and all the other little small companies doing it. But if you want real privacy when you're using that gigabit service, which I'm guaranteed is not going to be cheap, right? They want an extra $29 a month on top of your bill to guarantee that you can surf and do your shit in privacy. So not only are you paying for the actual gigabit service, you're paying AT&T to mind their own fucking business.
It's worse than that.
Go ahead, Paul. Have at it.
Quote, using the IP assigned to each gigapower account, AT&T scans for your AT&T Internet Preferences election. AT&T will treat your internet browsing activity in accordance with your election, i.e. whether or not you're paying them to be private or not. Okay? If you choose to participate in the AT&T Internet Preferences program, your internet traffic is routed to AT&T's Internet Preferences web browsing and analytics platform. In other words, we run everything through our bloody proxy and we make sure that, which may or may not be bad for your Xbox Live ping rate. If you choose not to participate in the AT&T Internet Preference program, your internet traffic is not routed to the Internet Preferences Analytics platform. AT&T may collect and use web browsing information for other purposes, as described in our privacy policy, even if you do not participate in the Internet Preferences platform.
So you're paying...
In other words, you're going to pay us not to run your data through our preferences platform, which basically means scan the fuck out of everything you do so we can show you ads. But it doesn't mean that you actually have any privacy, that we're not going to be monitoring what you do, and we're not going to be, scanning what's going on anyway. It just means that it's not going through our platform. Right? At no point do they say that by paying us $29, you're actually going to have privacy. This is a fucking shakedown.
Yeah.
That's all it is. This is a fucking shakedown to get more money out of people. That's all it is. And I would hope that the FCC would fucking take note of this and slap fucking AT&T on the wrist for it.
Do more than slap on the wrist.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They'd slap across the face for it. But this is nothing but a customer shakedown for money. Basically what they're saying is, if you don't pay us $29 a month, we're going to fucking build every piece of profile, mine every piece of profile information we can about you to sell ads and to sell to, I don't know, data on a third parties and the whole lot as much as we can. But if you do pay us $29 a month, then you're still not getting any privacy off us. We're just not going to do it as heavily. Now, do you know what might be worth it? Right? I'll pay. If I was a gigabit customer, I might pay AT&T $5 a month to ensure that there's no data kept about me.
But $30?
No, by no data, I mean no data.
Yeah,
right?
none. Zip.
I do. All that there is I have this line, and here are my usage limits. That's it.
Yeah.
Right? And I shouldn't have usage limits.
No.
You know there's eventually going to be usage limits on this fucking shit,
yeah,
right?
you can be
and it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to be like, you've got a gigabit connection, but you've got 500 megs a month that you can which is gone in 2.5 seconds. And of course, the other side of it is, at least where this is being rolled out right now, you've got Google competing.
Yeah.
Google doesn't track what happens over your line. Google just tracks you everywhere else, but that's the price.
Yeah. They've already got your information.
We know that. And we kind of accept that part of being part of the Google universe. Yeah. Right? But this is different. This, you know what I mean? This is a deep level inspection of every fucking thing that you were doing so that they can build up a profile and make more money off of you. And it's telling that they think that is worth $29 a month per person to get out of.
Number one, this does not surprise me. Does not surprise me in the least.
I mean, let's put it another way. This isn't this isn't $29 a month for privacy. This is $348 a year for the illusion of any kind of privacy from AT&T. Obviously, you're not private from the rest of the web.
Yeah.
Because what you do is what you do, right? This is absolute bullshit. Is what this is.
Well, on that note, folks, we're running a little long here, past our time.
Oh, we can do a story.
What's got your attention? Because I just let me just pull this back up. What's got yours?
I don't know. I just wanted to do one more story.
Well, see, the other one I had was the video, but that's like 15 minutes, so I'm going to save that for next week.
No, we're not doing a 15-minute video.
No. Let's see.
Right. So, malware in your hard drive. Thank you, NSA.
Yes, that was the other tech story.
Yeah. So, Kaspersky Labs have basically found that they've uncovered malware in the firmware of hard drives.
Yep. Which people don't understand. Here's the thing. When you get malware on your system, either through laziness or silliness or whatever, you can remove it easily. Well, sometimes easily, sometimes not so easily, but you can generally get rid of it.
By easily remove it, you can completely wipe the fucking drive.
Yeah. But when you have it in the firmware, which is the guidance system for the hard for
it's
the hard
impossible
drive,
to get rid of because you cannot wipe that firmware.
No.
And that means that no matter what you do, no matter how many times you erase the drive, it'll just keep reinfecting.
Yep.
And reinfecting and reinfecting. And this requires, at least to the minds of Kaspersky Labs, who uncovered it, and to me, requires access to the source code of the firmware.
Yep.
In order to do. which means either the companies were involved or the NSA has people working at these companies in these positions who are doing it surreptitiously.
What makes equations work so impressive is the length to which it will go to infect target computers. In a never-before-seen capability, its malware can rewrite the firmware of hard drives, i.e. the software on the devices that control, making it virtually impossible to detect, let alone remove. Such an exploit would require access to private source code from hard drive makers, through though several of these companies denied to routers any knowledge or involvement. Well, of course, they're going to do that.
Now, they are saying that there's a possibility that how this is done is where they actually intercept the hard drives when they're en route from, say, the manufacturer to wherever they're being delivered to, and then install it there. All right? That kind of takes the manufacturer out of the loop. And
but the thing is, that's bullshit, because the amount of work that would be required to do that is insane. Because you'd have to basically hijack the truck, right? Or have the driver who was working for you,
or have the drivers in on it.
Take it to a third location where it's all unpacked, right? And processed.
Oh, there was a thing a couple of years, not a couple of years ago, maybe a year ago or 2 years ago, about them intercepting hardware, to install stuff. But you know what? The worst part of this is, right? Not only does it mean, right, one, if it's happening at the manufacturer level, it means every bugger is infected, right? And if they decide to turn their evil gaze on you, you're fucked.
Yep.
That's it. You're fucked. End of story. Unless you can magically build your own hard drive at home, or I guess this might lead to a rise of open source firmware for hard drives and people figuring out how to flash their own hard drives.
Oh God.
I know, right? Can you imagine the disasters that's going to lead to? But where this is really going to hurt, right, is the U.S. interests abroad for technology companies.
Yep.
Right? It really is. I mean, if you're another country now, I mean, I don't care who you are. If you're another country now, you're going to seriously start eyeing up the possibility of, well, look, let's at least build one hard drive manufacturing place, at least for government hard drives.
Yeah.
We cannot rely on third-party hard drives anymore.
Let's be clear. This is not just one hard drive manufacturer that this is happening. This is right across the board. Western Digital, Seagate, Toshiba, and all the other top manufacturers. And
I know a lot of and I know some of these are outside of the country too, which raises another question and another thing altogether. But sticking with the implication that Kaspersky made, which is that this has come from the NSA, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to start asking yourself now, are we about to see Google and Microsoft start manufacturing their own hard drives?
Well, I know, because...
Is Apple going to start?
Yeah.
Are they going to drop their partnerships and start manufacturing their own hard drives? Because it's the only way to ensure the security of their users, who they have a responsibility to.
Yep.
Right? It's going to be the only way to ensure government contracts with other governments and educational facilities and so on and so forth.
And the public cloud and the private cloud business. Exactly. They can't let this stand.
And I mean, for governments worldwide, are they going to, have to sort of go to manufacturers now and say, well, we need some way to ensure that the stuff we buy is absolutely clean.
Yep.
It's going to be really, really interesting, because you cannot Now, no matter how good a scan you do on a machine, right? No matter how good a deep scan for, rootkits or anything you do on a machine, no IT person can now turn around and say, the computer you're operating on is safe for use and cannot or has not been infected.
Yeah.
Just can't do it.
No.
And that's interesting because obviously we're up against an interesting wall here in the sense that
1 sec. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Anyway, as I was about to say, we're up against an interesting wall here because unless you go with an open source firmware, right? But the problem is we don't know how they're getting these firmwares onto the machines.
Yeah,
yet.
really. Like we
So
don't
it's either
know.
at source, or they're being intercepted, or it's happening online, which is fucking crazy, right? That you're getting infected, and then it can infect your hard drive, which means even open source firmware for your hard drive is not going to protect you.
No.
So yeah, it's scary days from a security perspective.
By the way, this is my package I've been waiting for about a week and a half now.
Is that your STG drugs?
Yeah, no, it's. You know what? And I'm gonna have some fun here because I'm gonna do a quick unboxing.
An impromptu unboxing on Geek Dimensions.
Yes, because I know some of you really won't care, but fuck yeah, I want to do it anyway. First up, brand new set of headphones.
Sweet.
Second up, brand new mouse.
Sweet.
Third up, the adapter so I can get my third monitor up and running.
Yay.
Yes, I'm a happy camper. It's gonna be, I'm gonna have fun today. Anyway, so okay,
Now, what adapter is that?
That is to go from an HDMI to a display port.
Oh, okay, yeah, we discussed that. Yeah.
Right. So I don't watch TV because I've got my machines. I do what I do here. So I've got this nice 32-inch TV that I bought from my wife when she was still alive, and it's sitting here on top of my bass speaker doing nothing. So I figured, fuck it, I'll plug it into my graphics card and I got a third monitor. So there we go. Anyway, okay, so let's call this one to close there, my good friend. I know you got work to do, and I've got work to do, and I got toys to play with now. So thank you, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Normally, if I was doing another show, I'd say hit the follow button, but tell you what, if you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. The one right down there. But until next week, and we will try and make this a little more regular. I'm feeling better now. I'm not, because I was really sick there for a little while, and I know, Paul was really busy dealing with shit. But we're getting back into the groove. So we will see you next week. And until then, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, Paul. Have a good day.
A pleasure.
And we'll talk.
Enjoy playing with your toys.
I will. I enjoy playing with my toys. Until then, we will talk to you guys later. But remember, folks, remember always, geeks rule.